Come on and slam, and welcome to the jam. While you'd think that the Philippines would only care about Ragnarok Online, and yes, this will be the call out this early on in the video, and mandatory Ragnarok na naman, by the way. It actually had its fair share of different game genres thrown into the mix. There were MMORPGs, yes, and especially a wide variety of rhythm games like O2 Jam and Audition Dance Battle, as well as FPS titles like Crossfire. But the sports genre had a spotlight on its own, and no other game had this basketball loving country in the palm of its hand, quite like Freestyle. With a reboot on the horizon, though, let's talk about why Freestyle was as prominent as it was and the legacy that it left on the road back to that online basketball court. Basketball, even though the Philippines isn't really good at it, is its national sport. From the playgrounds to the official PBA, fans came from all walks of life, and even if they weren't physically compatible with the sport, it had been so ingrained into the culture that it became an experience all on its own. You had your analysts, your theorists, your armchair coaches, and your backseat players. But if they couldn't do it physically, why not just do it digitally? That's where video games come in. There was one minor problem though. NBA games at the time were largely limited to consoles, and while they were good simulations, they weren't exactly something everyone had access to. Consoles were expensive, internet cafes were everywhere, and for the average Filipino gamer after school, paying 20 pesos an hour at a computer shop was a whole lot more realistic than buying the latest PlayStation. That's exactly where Freestyle found its opening. Unlike NBA Live or NBA 2K, Freestyle wasn't trying to simulate an entire basketball season. It wasn't asking you to manage a franchise, memorize playbooks, or worry about salary caps. It stripped basketball down to arguably its most exciting form: street ball. 3-on-3, fast-paced, stylish, and above all else, skill-based. Every match felt like stepping onto your neighborhood court where everyone thought they were the next Allen Iverson. There wasn't a referee stopping every bit of contact. There weren't lengthy timeouts slowing the pace down. And there certainly wasn't any room to hide behind AI teammates. If you wanted to win, it came down to you and the two people standing beside you. That wasn't probably Freestyle's biggest strength. It wasn't just a basketball game. It was an online multiplayer game first and foremost. The moment you entered the lobby, you weren't simply waiting for matchmaking. You were hanging out. You were showing off your outfits, flexing your latest cosmetics, talking trash before tip-off, and scouting the other team before the game even started. It felt more like a digital basketball court than just another game menu. Looking back now, it's funny how ahead of its time that actually was. Nowadays, a live service game revolves around player identity. Your skins, emotes, profile cards, battle passes. Everything revolves around making your character feel unique. Freestyle was already doing a lot of that years before it became the industry standard. And speaking of identity, one thing every veteran remembers was picking a position. Were you the flashy guard breaking ankles and draining threes? The reliable forward who could score from almost anywhere? Or the towering center whose sole purpose in life was grabbing every rebound imaginable? Each role had its own responsibilities, and unlike many modern games where everyone tries to do everything, Freestyle encouraged teamwork. A center who refused to rebound wasn't helping anyone. A guard who kept forcing shots eventually became that teammate. Sound familiar? The best teams weren't necessarily made up of the highest levels players. They were the ones that trusted each other. Passing wasn't just encouraged, it was rewarded. Setting screens mattered, creating space mattered, knowing when not to shoot mattered. And in a country where everyone thinks they can hit the game-winning three, Freestyle quality taught an entire generation that basketball is still a team sport. Of course, it wasn't all sunshines and perfectly timed alley-oops. Anyone who played back then remembers the grind. Leveling took time. Unlocking new skills took commitment. You'd save up your in-game currency to finally afford that move you've been eyeing for days, only to realize someone else already had 3 different ways of crossing you over. Then there was the fashion. Because let's be honest, looking good was almost as important as winning. Oversized jerseys, baggy shorts, crazy hairstyles, sunglasses, accessories. Half the fun is making your character look like they belonged on an And1 mixtape tour. If someone walked into the lobby looking fresh, you immediately assumed they knew what they were doing. Until they missed a wide open layup. It also helps that Freestyle arrived during the golden age of internet cafes. This wasn't a game you played alone. You played it with classmates sitting beside you. You yelled across the room after landing a buzzer beater. You challenged the cafe regulars. You built rivalries that lasted weeks. Sometimes the real match didn't even end when you logged out because everyone would continue arguing about it while everyone was walking home. Those were the kinds of memories online games excelled at creating back then. Nowadays, we have Discord servers, voice chat, and social media connecting everyone instantly. But there was something different about hearing your teammates celebrate from 3 computers away while the entire cafe turned around to see what just happened. That's nostalgia you can't really recreate. And maybe that's why the announcement of Freestyle's return has so many people excited. It's not just about replaying an old game, it's about revisiting a specific era of gaming. An era where online titles weren't competing for your daily login streak or asking you to complete 15 different events before breakfast. You logged in because your friends were online. Because they were games to win. And because somewhere out there another team was waiting to prove they were better than you. Whether the reboot manages to capture that same magic remains to be seen. Gaming has changed. Players have changed. Expectations are completely different. But if Freestyle can preserve the teamwork, the personality, the fast-paced gameplay, and the community that made it special in the first place, it might just remind a whole new generation why this game became a legend in the Philippines. Because before MOBAs took over the cafe, before Battle Royales dominated streaming, before esports arenas became packed with thousands of fans, there was a basketball court. 3 players on each side, 1 ball, and countless unforgettable memories waiting to happen. And if the reboot can recreate even a fraction of that feeling, then maybe it's finally time to come on and slam one more time. For more content like this and other updates down the line, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.